Philadelphia 76ers are built on a flimsy foundation. They are built on a foundation of two max players who might be the two worst value contracts in the NBA.
So Paul George. So 76ers, Paul George just went undergo surgery for his offseason knee injury. So yes, so Paul George suffered an offseason knee injury a couple weeks ago. This article is from July 15th. And man, the 76ers cannot catch a break at all. The Philadelphia 76ers, they got to be cursed or something, man, because last season, this season, has been nothing but injuries. Paul George had an injury last year. He ended the season early. Joel Embiid obviously had a season-ending injury, and the rookie as well. What was his name again? 76ers, who had an ACL injury. What was his name? Jared McCain. He had an injury as well too. Even Tyrese Maxey had an injury towards the beginning of the season. So it has just been not good overall. And I'm starting to ask, man, like, what is wrong with these 76ers doctors, man? Like, this, I don't know if they're just not taking care of their players or just rushing players back, but it's not good right now. So 76ers Paul George undergoes surgery for offseason knee. 76ers forward Paul George, who was injured during an offseason workout, underwent a surgery on his left knee, the team announced. Oh my God. This guy was just doing an offseason workout and injured his knee again. And Paul George, let me remind you, is getting a little bit older as well. Like Paul George is not getting any younger as well. I think he's in his 30s now. He's 35. Yes, that's crazy. So 76ers, George underwent a successful arthroscopic procedure on the knee Monday at the NYU Lagoon Sports Medicine Orthopedic Center in New York with this doctor here. So George will now begin rehabilitation for program, which will, and his progress will be monitored regularly. He'll be reevaluated prior to the start of training camp. George, 35, was limited to just 41 games last season due to the injury he sustained to his knee, groin, and finger. He received several injections in his left knee in the 2024-2025 campaign. And the 15-year veteran averaged 16 points per game, the fewest since his 2014-2015 season, and also logged 5.3 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 1.8 steals per game over his 41 starts. Ah, man, this is absolutely terrible. So Paul George, who's, he's had his injuries in the past. I'm not going to say he's injury prone, but last season with the Philadelphia 76ers was an absolute abysmal season. As you can see, he had his lowest average points that he ever had in his career since the 2014-2015 season, which I think might have been his second or third year in the league, something like that. So that was him just developing as a player. And Paul George, he got injured again, man. I mean, he is getting up there. He's 35 years old. And one thing I'll say about a lot of the NBA stars now, man, is that some of them are aging gracefully to the point where you almost kind of forget how old these guys really are. Like Paul George, 35. In my head, I'm thinking he's like 31, 32. But no, Paul George is 35, man. He's 35 years old. So him coming off another knee injury again, especially when he had one earlier in the season, one that he had to actually shut his whole season down for, is actually pretty alarming. And even before this happened, there was potential talks that Paul George might be traded or be in potential packages from Philadelphia just because of how bad the season was last year. We had the whole podcast debacle where this guy was doing podcasts in the middle of the season. That was not looking good at all as well. You have a team that was just disjointed, not playing well together. And then you had this man still doing podcasts in the middle of the season, man. You're like, oh, the entire team was like, what the hell's going on? That's everybody. That's everybody with Paul George in his goddamn podcast throughout the rest of the season. And eventually he had to shut the podcast down too. Eventually they said, listen, man, you got to focus on ball. You got to kill that podcast. And he did it. To his credit, he actually did it. But eventually he had to shut the season down anyways because he got injured. So this is pretty abysmal. I mean, in the NBA draft this year, the 76ers did draft VJ Edgecombe. And this dude, I ain't gonna lie, he'd be looking like a straight stud, bro. Like, so the fact that the 76ers drafted this guy, VJ Edgecombe, and you have an older guard who's injury prone or getting a little bit older in Paul George, I would say that that's enough of a red flag if I'm Paul George to be like, okay, maybe I might get traded, or my time in Philadelphia is not going to last that long. But that's what it is. And then we had an ESPN reporter ripping the 76ers, and he called Embiid and Paul George the two worst valued contracts in the NBA. Two worst valued contracts in the NBA. So a top reporter took the blowtorch to the Philadelphia 76ers roster construction after news came that Paul George underwent arthroscopic surgery to his knee. The organization revealed Monday that George had a procedure after getting injured in the recent offseason. That's what we just covered. He will be reevaluated. George missed 41 games in his first season in Philadelphia after signing a max 4-year, $211 million contract. Oh my God. So Paul George, even though he's injured, even though he only played 41 games for the Philadelphia 76ers, that boy's getting paid. And then we also have the injury issues that we've had with Joel Embiid throughout his entire career as well too. The other Max player, Joel Embiid, has yet to start basketball activities after undergoing arthroscopic surgery on his knee as well. Embiid only played 19 games last season. In fact, the big three, Embiid, George, and Tyrese Maxey, only took the court 15 times during the 2024-2025 season and missed a combined 131 games due to injury. Damn. Embiid was even given a 3-year, $193 million extension last September and is owed a whopping $242 million through the 2028-2029 season. God damn. These dudes are getting paid. Now, there was another article that came out recently about Joel Embiid. That's actually a long article. It's like a 1 hour long article or something like that. I know some of you motherfuckers don't like to read, but I'll probably go over that article sometime in the future. But from what I understand, is people have been talking about it. It's a really good article. It really humanizes Embiid. It talks about a lot of his struggles, a lot of what he went through with a lot of the injuries that he has in the NBA. It talks about, honestly, the Philadelphia 76ers rushing him back from a lot of injuries and causing him to get injured again, which is probably why Joel Embiid has been having so much issues, or throughout his career has had so many issues. I think a lot of the times he's just been rushed back when he had no business being back on the court. Sometimes he would rush himself back, he just wanted to be out there. But there's a lot of times where Joel Embiid was been rushed back early, still had an injury, and he had no business being on that court and still went out there anyways. And the thing is, Joel Embiid is 7'1", bro. When you are that tall, you are that injury prone, you need to take time to allow your body to heal. And I do not think that the Philadelphia 76ers have done that. I don't think they've done a good job. And I think at this point too, because he has so much wear and tear on his body, no matter what you do, it's already too late. Because he's been in the NBA now for probably a little bit over a decade, Joel Embiid now. I think this year will be his 10th year in the NBA. So he's had so much wear and tear, injuries on his body, so many injuries, no matter what those doctors try to do, unless you can find some magical way or some sort of magical medical procedure to be able to heal him at this point, is not going to help. Right? So Embiid is always going to be injury prone. Embiid, I know there's a lot of talk over, players sitting out, the load management and stuff like that. But I don't think load management is an issue if players actually have real injuries, bro. The issue with load management is when you get players BSing, when they just don't want to play certain games or whatever like that. But when you have actual legitimate injuries, bro, load management is necessary, because would you rather have some players play a little bit or not at all because they're injured, because they're always injured? You know what I mean? So for me, for a player like Joel Embiid, where clearly he has these issues, he can't play long stretches of the game, maybe not an entire season, it does make sense for him to do load management, because the dude's body just cannot keep up. He's just too big. And the way Joel Embiid moves, the way the modern game is, the way how fast paced it is these days, it's just not built for a dude that big with limbs like that to be able to move for an extended period of time for a whole season. So, I mean, I guess it is what it is. He's still getting paid mad money. Those contracts in the NBA are guaranteed, so that's something else as well too. Take a look at what this guy was saying here.
Philadelphia 76ers are built on a flimsy foundation. They are built on a foundation of two max players who might be the two worst value contracts in the NBA. And it is not about talent. Joel Embiid and Paul George are incredibly talented players. It doesn't matter if you're doing that sitting on the bench in street clothes.
I gotta agree, man. This goes to what I'm saying. I think the NBA in general, I think they have to do a significant review of some of the medical practices that are going on, because even if you look at all the players this year who had Achilles injuries, this year they had like the most Achilles injuries ever in NBA history. It was like 9 or 10 players throughout the whole season who got Achilles injuries. You had 3 players just in the playoffs alone: Damian Lillard, Tyrese Halliburton, and Jason Tatum, all got Achilles tears in this year's playoffs. So there's some going. I think the NBA, especially the game, like what I was alluding to earlier, how the game has changed. It's a little bit more fast paced now. Some of the movements that they're doing, there's more movement, just play to play. They really have to take a look into some of their doctors, man. I don't know I know a lot of people have talked about shortening the NBA season. That's a potential option as well too. I don't know if that's something that the NBA might want to look into. It's been 72 games, I believe, since the 1970s. 81 games since the 1970s. So I don't know what they're gonna do. Sorry, SKTV says it's true, bro. They can't stay on the court. Shake my head. Yeah, man, it's becoming a bigger and bigger problem, and I don't know what the NBA is doing. I mean, I can put it to y'all and see what y'all think as well too. SK, like the NBA, they have a huge problem with these injuries, man, and I don't know if it's like, I don't think it's a load management issue. I don't even think it's like they're not training or whatever like that, because these guys, they have the best trainers in the world, because the NBA is one of the richest sporting leagues in the world, right? They have the best trainers in the world, so the best doctors, everything. But I think it's just the game itself has changed so much. There's way more cuts. There's a lot more movement, play to play. There's, the way players attack the basket, like just the pace of the game overall is a lot faster. And the human body is not meant to move like that for an extended period of time, not for a 82 game plus season, plus playoffs over and over and over again. You know what I mean? So, and this is not a recent issue as well too. There was load management back in the 90s and the 2000s and other stuff as well too. And even though people want to act like that wasn't a thing, that was a thing back in the day as well too. But I think they definitely, and I'm sure Adam Silver and some of the NBA officials and the people who work behind the scenes are looking at that. But it is becoming a big problem when some of your biggest stars making the most money, because Paul George is making $211 million on a 4-year contract, bro, which is more money than most athletes see ever in any other sport. So, and then another fact of the NBA contracts are fully guaranteed, man. You cannot have these guys be sitting out making such money, because the fans are coming to see these dudes, bro. Like, if you're a Philadelphia 76ers fan, bro, you're going to a Philadelphia 76ers game. Who are you watching, bro? Who are you really watching? You know what I mean? You're gonna watch Tyrese Maxey. Is he the main guy that you're going to see? No, you want to see Joel Embiid and you want to see Paul George. So these injuries racking up is not good for the NBA, and it is not good for the 76ers right now as well. But we'll continue to monitor this and see what happens. They do say they're going to review Paul George and see if he's going to be healthy before the beginning of the season. I mean, it is a knee procedure that he underwent, so it takes time to be able to heal from that, to get back into game shape and game speed as well. So we're going to see what's going on with that.